going on, Jerome's? We're back in the garage because I feel like we just need a garage vibe after that game. And I fully understand. As Vikings fans, we hadn't grown accustomed to losing over the last 5 games before Sunday night. And it sort of is what it is. And, you know, the Vikings losing by a point on the road, a game that they easily shoulda, coulda, woulda won. They literally gave the game away, very reminiscent to the 0-3 start early on in the season, as well as the Chiefs games, and it happened. It happened. And the whole thing about it is, too, is like I've seen a lot of Vikings fans, especially on social medias, even though social media is not real life, just like, oh, here we go again, blah, 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 blah. It's almost like they were just waiting. Like it's almost like the 5-game winning streak pissed them off because they just wanted to be miserable and negative. But you know, the whole thing is too, you know, we get criticized for being overly positive, except I feel like we're the most objective person out here. And yes, I say that a little bit tongue in cheek, but just because you're being negative does not mean that you're being realistic. And this Vikings team, even though that loss did suck, I mean, they're still in fantastic shape in the NFC. They're still 6-5, staying alive, and guess what? They're 6-2 in conference, which is absolutely huge for tiebreakers. They're 2-0 in division. They still have 3 division games at home left, and also 2 games against the Lions, who I understand they're 8-2, and Dan Campbell is coach of the year. Whatever. Not scared of them at all, man. And this team, you know, in the 5-game winning streak, they did that without Justin Jefferson, and they went 2-1 in games without Kirk Cousins, and that does mean something. And the Passionate, we've seen him have some high highs, we've seen him have some low lows, and I think that even if he can calibrate things and just keep things a little more even keeled, and also, frankly, use his legs a little bit more, he's super dangerous, and he's only going to get better the more time that he gets involved in this offense. And offensively, I mean, Ty Chandler looks like a stud. Madison had a good game outside of that fumble, which, I mean, just 2 killer fumbles, man, in games that the Vikings should have won. There were turning points in the Eagles game as well as the Broncos game. And we pointed out before, like, in the grand scheme of things, every single game counts, but in the 17-game season, the road out-of-conference games impact the standings the least outside of win total. All right, so you look at conference division tiebreakers, it's not really a factor. Well, you get into common opponents, sure, but yeah, that's down the rabbit hole. But next game up, and we're on to Chicago. And guess what? You're at home. Guess what? You're up against a division foe. And guess what? You have a chance to go to 7-2 in conference, which is huge. You have a chance to get to 7-5, staying alive, heading to the bye, get even healthier, heading into some very winnable games at Las Vegas and at Cincinnati now. And this team is still dangerous, man. And the Vikings do have a 1.5 game lead over the 8 seed. They're currently in the 7th spot. The Packers got the Rams. You got the Falcons all hanging in there at 4-6. The Vikings have the head-to-head advantage over the Packers and the Falcons right now. So the Vikings are still in very good shape. And also, it kind of felt like, you know, that 5-game winning streak was a little bit of a magic carpet ride. Maybe this loss did bring them back down to earth. It was like, hey, fundamentals. Take care of the football. And also, wake-up call to Kevin O'Connell. You almost lost the Saints game, and you did lose the Broncos game because you were too conservative. Like, you were just playing not to lose, and guess what? You lost. And again, I fully understand that people want to say, well, the Broncos didn't win because of those dirty hits by Kareem Jackson and Alex Singleton. Fully understand that. But to say that they did not impact the game is complete lunacy. So first off, the Kareem Jackson, which got suspended for 4 games without pay, should have been flagged, should have been ejected. I mean, Kareem Jackson is a good player. He had 9 tackles, 6 solo in the game. So ejecting one of their best players rightfully would have made a bit of a difference, as well as the Vikings, instead of turning the ball over on the opening drive at the 30, they get the ball back, plus 15 yards. And also, let's not discount that the hit on Dobbs did send him to the medical tent. And even though he cleared concussion protocol, who's to say that he wasn't a little bit rattled? And maybe that matriculated the rest of the game. And if that's true, I mean, stupid-ass Sean Payton, we know his reputation. Maybe he just sacrificed Kareem Jackson for 4 games to try and take out Josh Dobbs. Try and get Nick Mullins on the field. Who knows? Who really knows, man? But song remains the same. The Vikings should have played better than the refs refed, as well as better than how dirty ass Sean Payton was playing dirty. It's basically 2009 NFC Championship game all over again, right? But the Vikings are still extremely dangerous. The Florida's defense is playing at a top 10 caliber clip. Danielle Hunter getting after the QB, setting the edge against the run. He's playing like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Anthony Barr is back. Whew. This game has everything, as well as Justin Friggin Jefferson is hopefully going to be 100% in time for Monday night. Vikings need him. Addison is a top 2 rookie wide receiver. Hockenson is a top 2 tight end in the league. He might not even be 2. As well as the offensive line is rounding into form as one of the best in the NFL. So what really more do you want? I mean, the Vikings are in fantastic shape. They're 81% to make the playoffs via Pro Football Focus. And they have a chance to really lock things down with a win at home with an extra day of rest, prime time, against the Bears before they head off into the bye. So, again, I understand you want to be negative because that's like the default setting for a lot of Vikings fans, but there's a lot of things to be positive about, objectively positive about. And think of where this team was at 0-3, 1-4. And if someone would have told you that the Vikings would be having a chance to be 7-5 going into the bye, and basically having a chokehold on the playoff places, you would have thought that they were out of your damn mind, especially without JJ and especially without Kirk Cousins. But so it is what it is. Like, you could have your 24-hour pity party, but that is over. Got to get back on the horse. This team is still capable of playing good to great football. This team is still very dangerous in the playoffs, and this team has a chance to rack up and stack up a bunch of wins, as well as, again, 2 games left against the Lions, 3 home games in division. They can make some serious noise in the playoff places in the NFC. So we're on to Chicago, baby. That's right. And the Passionaut, he will launch again. That's right. That's right, man. There we go. But your thoughts are thoughts. A raw, real garage rant. You know what to do. SKOL, no production value.